of the UK Area Sales Manager from Control 4, Jason.
A round of applause. Just to add to the nerves, just walking onto a quiet stage. Thank you, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the day so far. I certainly am. As Ray quite distinguishedly pronounced my surname, my name is Jason Glardier from Control 4. I'm also from the north of England, so if you need any translation, please feel free to put your hand up at any point. And I'm going to talk to you today about smart technology, and more importantly, smart building technology. So I've broken it down to a few key topics. Firstly, I'm just going to explain a little bit to you about who Control 4 are, if you've not already heard of us or not already familiar with us. I'm just going to take a little bit of time telling you who we are. And I'm going to run through what a smart building is, in our opinion. Now, there are an enormous amount of smart products out there, smart being the punctuated word, but what is actually a smart building? Now, there's a lot of misconceptions on the market, in general terms, what a smart building is. So I'm just going to take a couple of minutes and run through that. Now, Control 4 has a variety of different applications which you will see over the coming 19 minutes and 30 seconds, it says here. But we can go into homes, buildings, offices and hotels, amongst other places. So Control 4 in a smart building and a smart office are two of the things that we can do. And Control 4 in hospitality environments as well. Now, when I'm talking about hospitality, I'm mostly referring to hotels, but it can also have other applications as well. So those are the four things that I'm going to hopefully explain to you today. There we go. So, who are Control 4? Now, is there anyone in this crowd who has heard of Control 4 except my colleagues at the back? 2, 3, 4, 5. Brilliant. That's 5 more people than normally when I do these things. I'm normally one. But okay, so a brief background of Control 4. Founded in 2013. No, it's not 2013, it's 2003. So just over 13, no, what's that? 13 years, should know that, on the market. The first couple of years were R&D, so realistically we've been on the market since 2006 in the UK. There is a misconception that Control 4, or Connect 4, as some people refer to us are. I assure you that's not the same company, or our logos do look very similar. So Control 4 was actually founded by 3 people. It was actually just the 4th company they founded, so it wasn't actually 4 people that founded, it was 3 people. We now have over nearly 5,000 dealers of Control 4 globally. Now, a dealer is somebody or a company who we sell to directly, who go out there, install, support, commission, and basically revolve their business around providing Control 4 solutions for companies and homeowners and such like. The company is sold, the product is sold in around about 80 countries worldwide, and that's growing all the time, with over 500 staff internally. And one of the big milestones for Control 4 in 2013 is that we floated on the American stock market under the pseudonym CTRL, which is the same as the button on your keyboard. So every time you press that button, think of Control 4 stock price, and that's just a nice little reminder. We are officially the market leader in the smart home market. There is a survey that goes out every year in the US, it's called the CE Pro Top 100. It breaks the market down into various categories like heating, ventilation, security, lighting, etc. And home automation is the one that we came top of the bill on. So well done us, and hopefully that will be something that we can continue on forward for the next few years. Okay, so what is a smart building? So when you're doing presentations like this, you don't just throw them together, although sometimes it does sound like you do. You do a little bit of research. Now, when I was trawling the internet to find out what the actual definition of a smart home is, because obviously everyone has a different conception of what it is, but what is the official strapline on what a smart home actually is, or smart building? So this is lifted straight from the Department of Trade and Industry's website, and when you're doing presentations, you're told not to read off these slides, but in this instance, I'll make an exception. So a smart building is A dwelling incorporating a communications network that connects the key electrical appliances and services and allows them to be remotely controlled, monitored, or accessed. Sounds good. Everybody want one? Well, from my point of view, that's just garbage. That's just gobbledygook. I mean, there are some truths in there, but realistically, that sentiment is pretty formulaic. So what is a smart building? Let's break it down into things that we can all really understand. So amongst other things, a smart building is a building that can adapt and change a building that can adapt to change in your behaviour and lifestyle. Now what I mean by that is that you might have some requirements of your smart building or smart home or smart office or whatever in the first instance. It might be something to do with lighting, it might be something to do with heating. But as your needs and requirements and circumstances change, you might want that situation to change as well. So what I'm saying is realistically, you don't want just a fixed solution. You want something that can adapt, evolve, and mould itself around to your working practices, to your living practices, and everything else that goes on in between. So you're not stuck in the same rut every time you want to do something. You can expand the system, you can move it, you can change it, you can mould it, etc. A smart building is a connected building, and this is one of the biggest things that we come up against all the time. There's a lot of people out there that think because they've got an app for something, they've got a smart system. Now, some of that's actually true, because if you've got a smart music system or a smart lighting system or a smart security system, yes, you have elements of a smart home or a smart building. However, none of those devices are connected. All you've effectively done is take the remote control for that device or devices, stuff them into an iPad, and given them an app for each individual application. Now that, to me, is worse than the situation you had before. So when we're talking about smart buildings, we're actually talking about something that's connected, that's talking across the network, that's talking to each other all the time and knows the status of the other device on the network at any given time. An energy efficient building. Now there's some common examples of this, I think we've covered a couple of them today. So occupancy sensing, if there's no occupancy sensing in a particular area of the building, turn the lights off. Sounds straightforward. How many times do you walk into a room, the lights are already on, the heating's at full tilt, etc., etc. A smart building can react to that without any programming, just a little bit of logic that's internally in the system, and the lights can turn off, the heating can be set or turned down or completely turned off. And therefore saving money, saving energy, and everyone's happy. A building that can be managed remotely and self-heal. Now, that's a really important thing. Now, obviously this technology does cost money, and the last thing you want to be doing is spending money on support calls from your installer or from your engineer or from the company that's put the system in. So why not have a system that can detect problems before they even occur? Now, I'll give you a quick example. You wake up in the morning, you want to check your email, somebody sent you an email overnight, you go to download that PDF, and you get it. And if your network's gone down, you get that spinning wheel. Does everyone know what I mean? That spinning wheel of death. Oh no, I can't see what the boss has sent me on an email. It's because your network's gone down. Okay? But if you have a smart home, the person that's installed that system will get a notification before you actually realise there's a problem, and that access point or that network port can be rebooted remotely before you even know there's a problem. Okay? So you can go back to watching that video of that panda sneezing or something else that you really want to spend your time doing. That was my best material, by the way, so if you're not laughing at that, it's going to go downhill from here. Okay, so, and as I said before, a series of, not just a series of gadgets or island devices, and by that what I mean is having all the system connected. So, let's put it into a graphical representation. A smart home really consists of an operating system and a solid network. I cannot emphasize the importance of the network enough. If your network is unstable or doesn't work, then nothing attached to it is going to work either. Okay? So the panda sneezing video might be one problem, but having no heating, no lighting, no shade control is a completely different other situation, especially if it's your home or your office space or something that you're responsible for. So the system sits on top of the network. And then we put the automation engine, we put simplified programming, and one of the key things that Control4 does is that we are interoperable. That's a good word. We are interoperable with many third-party, nearly 10,000 third-party products, such as baking and other systems that you've been hearing about today. So if the system isn't easy to install or easy to program, then no one's going to use it. Okay, so those are the four key components, the bedrock of a smart home. The network, the automation engine, the ability to talk to other products, and the simplicity in which it hangs together. And then what we do is we break it down into four key components. So entertainment, that can be your audio visual, it can be your home cinema, it can be your boardroom presentation, your lighting, self-explanatory, comfort and convenience, heating, cooling, etc., and safety and security, obviously CCTV, alarms, etc. Now, these are all things that everybody in this room has either got at home or has got in the workspace. Is that right? What we do with Control 4 is we put a lid on that and give it a nice, slick, customizable user interface and knit all those things together. And by doing so, you create a smart home. So just to reiterate, the smart home or the smart building needs a platform. If it doesn't have the platform, just like when you're building a house, if your foundations are rocky and unstable, the house is going to fall over. The same with the network. If the network's unstable, unreliable, then everything attached to it is going to be poorly operated as well. So you need to have those four components in play before you venture into this world. And when we're talking about these four components, entertainment, lighting, comfort, convenience, safety and security, although at Control 4 we physically manufacture and sell boxes, what we're talking about to the end user and the homeowner and the building owner, etc., is the solution. So what do you want to do, Mr. Customer? When I walk into this building, I want this, this, and this to happen. If it's dark and I walk up the driveway, I want to be able to put my thumb on a biometric reader and I want these things to happen. It's winter, I want these things to happen here, and in summer I want these things to happen here. The bit behind it is the Control 4 product. It's the black box that does all of this. But when you're talking to an end user, and when we're talking to end users or architects or developers, we are talking about the solution side of it and not necessarily the box. People get turned off by boxes. They're really not that attractive. They're just black and box and steel. The solution is the cool bit. Okay. So realistically, what does Control 4 do? So as I said before, and if you can't see, that's a picture of an office. You have all these facilities going in or connected to your home already. So everyone in this building is familiar with a TV, I imagine, with music, with lighting, with security systems, motion sensing, CCTV, alarm panels, and thermostatic control. Now typically, all these things just go into the building independently. Okay? So all you've got is a series of 5 or 6 separate solutions, all independently controlled either by an app, a native app that it comes with, a remote control, etc., etc. Which is how we've done it for the last 100 years or so. Independent systems, independently controlled, no communication across any network at all. Put Control 4 in there, and now everything starts talking to each other. So you have this constant flow of information, and what you get is everything knowing what everything else is doing. You are feeling sleepy. Okay, so at any time, the heating knows what the lighting is doing, the lighting knows what the music's doing, the security system knows what the CCTV system is doing, etc., etc. So this constant flow of communication becomes the smart home. Okay? Why do it work? So what are the key motivators for Control 4 adoption? Now, years ago, when Control 4 first came on the market, we thought that, or we actually knew, that the key motivator for Control 4 use was the AV. So the AV side of things. Typically in a home environment, it would be the cinema room. Something that somebody would want to show their friends, and it'd be the cool thing to come around and watch the game and all the rest of it. And we used to make products specifically for the AV. But the UK market for smart devices has grown 30% in 2015 alone. And with that, a load of different changes have happened, and a lot of different requirements. And the end user is now more educated to what they can have, and obviously their demands have changed at the same time. So what we've deduced from all those years of expertise is that the ease of use of the product is more important than the function itself. Now what I mean by that is that you might have the most technically innovative product on the market, but if nobody can use it, then what's the point? So what we do is we enable all those solutions that have complex interfaces to fall under our interface, which is very simple, very intuitive, common across all platforms, and very easy to use. And that's where the Control 4 fits in. The key motivator these days, not just for Control 4, but for smart building technology and smart home owners, the key motivator these days is security. And when I'm talking about security, I'm not just talking about the alarm panel and CCTV. Again, I'm talking about the solution. Now, it might be the case that you sense motion in the back garden between the hours of 12 and 5, or on the car park between dawn and dusk or whatever, and something happens. And that something might be the lights come on in the building, or the lights come on and floodlight the car park, or the CCTV starts sending snapshots of the car park to the person who owns the building. Something like that. Many other use cases like that. And 90% of Control 4 owners agree that security is the most common motivator to purchase, not just the Control 4 system, but a smart system in general. And in a recent customer survey, 92% of all Control 4 customers surveyed agreed that a smart home is a safe home. There's a lot of Control 4 end users out there who travel a lot, who leave their families at home a lot, and they want the peace of mind to know that when they're away, their house and their family are safe. And that can mean just dialing in over the IP network to see what the cameras are doing. That could be getting text messages when something happens in the back garden. It might be just anything that when the person's inside, the lights come on at certain times of day, so if anyone's looking at the house, they know that there's what we call occupancy. There's a perception that someone is actually in the house. So when I'm talking about the security, I'm not talking about a security panel, although that is part of it. I'm talking about the solution surrounding it. And over the last decade, we've gone from an AV being the key motivator of Control 4 adopter to security. Okay, so that's Control 4 in a home environment. And as I said before, Control 4 also goes into smart offices as well, or it goes into offices and makes them smart. So this is actually quite a common application. So we've got the same functionality available to us in a home environment as we have to the boardroom environment or to the office environment. So what are the sort of things that we can do in a boardroom, for example? So we can control the meeting room. So how many people have gone into that boardroom and not been able to turn the lights on, the air conditioning's too cold, we don't know how to pull the screen down, the lighting's all wrong, it's glaring at the screen, the projector, the blinds won't come down, etc., etc. In this day and age, we really shouldn't be doing that anymore. We should have one-touch control, or sometimes even no-touch control, to make that meeting room ready for our presentations or for our board meetings, etc., etc. So it might even be that the smart building or the smart office is connected to a booking system. And if my booking credentials go into that system, it knows that Jason likes the lighting at 20%, he likes the blinds at 40%, and he likes the heating to be -2, or whatever. Not -2. I know the want that. Rattle warm, you can see me in the meeting room. Obviously, there's that, but there's also the green element to it as well. So as we are in the home environment, the office environment is exactly the same. Again, how many times we've walked into that meeting room, the lights are on, the heating's on, and the windows are open. That's a killer, that one. So why do that? Why not have a smart office, put the same control that you've got in the home into the working environment, and make your office smart? And another classic from me, the smart office, it's all well and good, but unfortunately, it can't make that spreadsheet for the boss yet. Although, coming soon. Again, another one of my best materials there, guys. Really sorry about this. Oh, no. So, these are a couple of case studies coming up. So, Control 4 in a smart office. Anyone familiar with the area that's called Willmott? Ray, you'll know Willmott.
Yes, I do.
From your Manchester United days. There is an office complex just outside Willmott. Control 4 is controlling that whole three-sided building complex there. So what are we doing in there? Well, again, as I said before, we're controlling the lighting, we're controlling the heating, we're controlling smart locks, either they're biometric locks for the person who wants to get into that meeting room, who wants a specific setting triggered when he walks into that meeting, or she walks into that meeting room, beg your pardon. Now that can be biometric, that can be capacitive touch, that can be tied into a personal user's profile, so when I put in my code, 1234, my personal settings come on in that meeting room. We're also controlling the CCTV, and we're also integrating into the boardroom to allow personal settings to be triggered. Okay, so it's exactly the same functionality that you expect in the home environment, we're just rolling this into a workspace environment. Here's another case study that we're working on, or we have just finished working on. This is the Ferrari dealership in Sydney. Again, what are we doing there? Well, there's 14 zones of audio and video in there that prior to that were an absolute nightmare to control. There's over 60 circuits of lighting in there, again, which were an absolute nightmare to control. Who's ever seen the janitor's cupboard with those 20 different lighting switches on there? You must have seen them. I have, anyway, and that's the most important thing. So what we do here is we control all those centrally. So all the lighting circuits are pulled back to a central point, and then it enables the user to run scenes during the day. And obviously, car showrooms are lit up at night as well, so we schedule the events throughout the day and the night to make sure that the showroom looks occupied or shows the cars in the best light at any given time of day. So again, control 4 in an office environment, control 4 in a home environment. So, control 4 in a hospitality situation. Now this image here is the Aria Hotel in Las Vegas. Has anybody stayed there in this room? No. Okay. Has anybody seen the Newborn film? No. Has anybody seen the Newborn film? Yes. Fantastic. I'm going to talk to you about that. It's in the Newborn film. That's all I wanted to say. So what do we do in the hotel environment? So we've got touchscreen control, we've got personalised settings, we've got green mode, so when the room isn't occupied, the lights come down, the shades go up, the heating goes off. Okay, so for the user, an intuitive way of controlling the room. For the hotel owner, a more efficient way of controlling the room. And what does that look like? Is for the hotel rather than for the home. So we've got concierge services there, so the NG, so the user of the room, or the occupant of the room, is able to book gym sessions, call a taxi, order room service, and do very simple things like control the curtains, control the drapes, stream their own music, stream their own videos. So it's personalising that experience for the end user. So it's not just your typical travel lodge, your typical Premier Inn, which is what I'm more accustomed to. These are room experiences that are cut above the rest on the market. So not just the Aria, these are just a handful of the hotels that we're in globally. You might recognise a couple of the images there. So the Dorchester, which isn't too far from here. 45 Park Lane, again not far from here, and the one I haven't included on there is Grosvenor House Apartments. So they're just 3 of the hotels in the London area or near vicinity where Control 4 is installed. Obviously the list is a way more expansive one than I've got here, but there's just a flavour of where Control 4 sits currently today. So, at Control 4 we use a phrase called the new normal. And what do I mean by the new normal? Well, essentially something that a few years ago was considered new, a little bit out there, a little bit funky, that sort of thing, and then over time, as maybe the awareness of it grown, the reliability of it's grown, it becomes more standard. So let me just give you an example. So the iPad came onto the market in 2009, and now 7 out of 10 UK households have some form of tablet device. So again, creating the new normal. The new normal is to have a tablet device. In a car, the new normal is having air conditioning in as standard, having electric windows. The light switch that we see on the wall today was a far-out concept once upon a time, and now we just accept it as the new normal. Another example is footballers that fall over when they crack a finger. That's the new normal. Not in your day, Ray. Seriously, not in your day. Something that was not very common, now common practice, the new normal. Okay. So we are creating the new normal in a smart home space. So why have multiple light switches, wall balcony everywhere, unintuitive systems to use? Why not have a smart home experience? So that is the new normal as we see it. Smart home technology is now more affordable and accessible than ever. I was in Tesco's the other day, and I saw a smart plug on the shelf. I saw a smart PIR sensor. I saw a smart contact sensor, all in a nice box for £30. I think the Belkin was the name. Now more affordable than ever. 10 years ago, I've just been having a chat to a chap in the audience who used to work for competitive companies. You used to talk about a price point of £250,000 and above for a smart home project. Now you can start on at that small price point, build up over time, let the system breathe, let the system mould to your requirements, etc., etc. Now more affordable and accessible than ever. And awareness for the consumer market is higher than it's ever been. It used to be 10 years ago when I first joined Control that this was a relatively far-out concept. Now we could all see the long game where this would be standard in a lot of people's homes in the near future. But that takes a lot of hard work and a lot of driving the market and driving the awareness of a particular brand and a particular technology. However, now, 2016, the market awareness of smart home and smart building technology is higher than it's ever been. There are so many devices in the market that claim to be smart. And it is becoming normal to control devices from a smart interface. I bet most people in this room have some form of app control device in their home, in their workplace, or have encountered some form of smart control in a hotel. So, the future is smart. The number of UK households with some form of smart home system will increase 43% on last year to 3.1 million this year. This is forecast to double to £1.4 billion across 7.7 million UK households by 2019. That is massive growth. So it's not going away. This technology is here to stay. This connected home, this connected building, this connected hotel environment is here to stay. And those are conservative estimates. You have to troll the internet a couple of times to find more expansive predictions than that. And just to recap, the app for that solution is not a smart system. That is just what it is. It's an app for that. Okay, there's no point having 10 disparate devices that don't talk to each other when you can have one simple intuitive interface to control everything. And there's going to be more connected devices. Your TV is now connected to the network, your AV receiver is connected to the network, your lighting we talk here about is connected to the network, and they're all going to need control. And users, as I said before, they migrate to the thing that's the easiest to use, not the thing that does the most stuff. Okay, so Control 4 are leading the way in the smart building and smart home market. Thank you for your time.